Hello, welcome to this really short update of TIN's latest activities. For those who are new to the channel, to TIN itself, I'm Ryan. I'm currently the director of TIN, and I am joined today by David Chapman, who has a fantastic and continuing tradition of supporting the community, and we're uh, working in partnership on something. Dave, would you like to introduce yourself and then introduce the thing?
Hi. Yeah, as Brian said, I'm David Chapman. I'm currently a producer at Cubicle 7 Games, mostly known for developing Doctor Who RPG, which is behind me there. Um, but yes, I for the last this would be the 11th one. For the last few Augusts, I've been trying to get people online to discuss tabletop RPGs in a positive way to just basically spread the word and get people sharing the positive stories. It kind of started, um, as I say, about 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago, when the internet was kind of full of lots of negativity about tabletop RPGs. There are a few bad apples that were surfacing, and I must admit I was going through a bit of a crappy time as well. And I'd just done a one of these internet prompt initiative things that's always going around online. There was one called RPGaDay that was being done in like June or July that one of the big book publishers was doing, and thought, oh, I'll do this, take my mind off of all the crap that's going on. And I ended up discovering that a lot of the books that I was recommending or saying book I've read the most and things like that was things were gaming rule books. And I thought, hey, but why don't we do one that's gaming orientated, and maybe get people talking about how cool games are and how they've positively impacted their lives. So that's really where it kind of came from. Um, it was mostly continuing along the lines of, so how has D&D impacted you, or how has gaming impacted you? And whenever I do any of these introduction videos, or whenever I'm in an interview, or even promoting some of the games and things, they always say, so what kind of an impact has gaming had on you? And the first ones would be, well, the friends that I made back 40 years ago, I'm still playing D&D with once a month, even though we're on different sides of the globe. Half of them are in Australia now. Um, I got my first proper day job thanks to gaming. I used to work for Humberside County Council back when that was a thing, working in for the Nature Conservation Unit, drawing maps. And I got the job because apparently I was about as qualified as the other person who applied. And the person who was interviewing me had gamed, so knew that I could do the whole thinking my way out of problems, and also that I could draw maps, which was quite good. So that kind of shaped everything. And when I relocated to Norfolk to do my degree, first thing I did was join a gaming group, which is where I met my future wife, and we've been married 20 odd years now. So it's that thing where gaming can have a really major and positive impact on your life. And I just thought I'd try and get people sharing cool stories about that, and just being nice and positive about it.
Were you prepared for uh, the buy-in from the community?
Not at all. Not at all. Um, I, I tried another one of these things, where I tried to start one about Nine Inch Nails called Nin, because I'm a big Nine Inch Nails fan. I thought, I'll do one called Ninvember, but that didn't take off at all. That was just me basically doing that. But yeah, RPGaDay, I thought, oh, nobody's really going to be interested. And then by the second, by the end of the first year, people were getting involved. By the second year, I had people contacting me from like Brazil and Australia and America and all around Europe. And all of everybody seemed to be getting involved, which was really good. And it's really taken off. My only problem I have with it at the moment is after, as I said, this one's the 11th year. Coming up with new prompts is really tricky. and,
Uh,
then, and I usually get people going, "Oh, that seems a bit similar." I'm just like, I can't think of anything at the moment. It's terrible. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Thank.
that was my next question. Was how do you think up new prompts after 9 years?
Oh well, it got to about I'd say about 4 or 5 years into yeah, about 4 years into doing RPGaDay, and I had a terrible amount of deadlines and things cropping up in August, and I thought I'm not going to be able to do it this year. But thankfully, Anthony Boyd, better known as Runeslinger, jumped on board and started doing some prompts as well for me and started co-hosting with me. He's based out in South Korea at the moment, so couldn't join us at this ungodly hour of the morning. Uh, but yes, so he manages to co-host and come up with a lot of the prompts, and he came up with all the prompts for this year as well. But yeah, it's always quite tricky. This year, they are quite they kind of hark back to the questions we had from our second year, because the last year, but it being the tenth one, we thought, oh no, we'll just redo the first ones again, because there's so many people who haven't done them at the first time, and it'd be a nice way of doing anniversary ones. So if you had done it the first time round, you can see how your answers have changed over the 10 years. So this year, they're kind of harking back to the second year's one, but we've also had a load of different prompts and a kind of random table of outcomes of prompts supplied by one of the people who partake in it, Scala, who thankfully submitted them all. They're on the website as well. If you don't like the prompts we've come up with, you can always try those ones as well.
I will desperately try to remember to include the link to that in the video description, and see how I can where else I can push that around. So global from both responses and input, then, which is mind-boggling. Not that it like just the scale of this really quite niche thing within a niche hobby itself.
It's quite a surprise. Yeah, we've managed to get on Rascal News again this year as well, thanks to them. Thank you, Rascal, and also getting Tin involved. We just hope that it'll get to even more people now, and people can start sharing the love and positivity. And again, another thing to emphasize on this isn't a commercial venture. It's not done for profit or anything. It's just a bit of fun. If you can't do the whole month, don't worry about it. It's just want to get people talking about RPGs basically, and how cool they are, and how they may have shaped their lives. When it comes to Tin's involvement, as I mentioned to you before we started doing the recording, both Anthony and myself, we both had suffered bereavements in our families quite recently, and we both came to this conclusion about end of June that we didn't think we were going to be able to do it this year, because like family stuff, and we just weren't, our heads weren't in the right places for it. So I reached out and just to Tin and basically said, would you be interested in hosting this year? Thankfully, or we've sort of addressed the problems that we were having, and we're in a slightly better place. And due to my complete lack of organization skills, Anthony managed to throw some prompts together this year, and I managed to quickly do a graphic, because we just haven't been able to organize anything. But hopefully, if the Tin community and can embrace the concept, we can get a bit more involved and collaborative next year,
Mhm.
and get it to even more people. It would be nice to get a lot more indie developers in, because I must admit, we I about second or third year. Managed to get some fairly big names in gaming development from people like Monty Cook Games and from Chaosium and things like joining in and doing their own prompts. So it would be nice to get some really cool indie people involved as well.
That is, after all, the purpose of TIN. It's here to support and develop the independent creators in the UK, as well as the professional larger names, as you yourself are a C7 staff member. Yeah. So how? Obviously, the obvious answer is writing, but how can people get involved in RPGaDay? I assume that hashtag RPGaDay will be a thing on the various social media platforms that use hashtags.
Yes, yeah. Basically, first stage is to go to one of the websites or follow the links that I'm hoping you're going to link to here. So it's either autocratic.com, which is my blog, or castingshadowsblog.com, which is Anthony's site. We'll both be hosting the graphics that you can download. On my site, there's also the alternate graphics from Scala as well, and both have been translated into other languages and are available as plain texts as well, for screen readers and things. So yeah, basically get the list of the prompts, and then every day in August, once a day, you see what the prompt is and try and answer the question. It can be either as just a simple post on a social media using the hashtag RPGaDay 2024. It separates it from previous year's answers. Or it could be something a bit more complicated. I know I try and put the prompts up a month in advance so that people can prepare if they're doing podcasts or video blogs, because they always take a long time to prepare. Or in my case, it's usually a text blog post, because I don't know if I've got time to do videos this year, but anything can be a bit of artwork. It can be showing a photo of some miniatures that you've done. If it ties in with the prompt, then go for it. Any form. I'm quite open to seeing interpretive dance or something like that. Would be good.
Now you've preempted the next question. It was going to be like pie in the sky, money's no object. What response would you like to see? But I guess you can't be interpretive dance for this kind of thing. So
I'd love to see some of the big streamers try and tackle some of the questions. It would be nice if it got that sort of reach, but we can only dream.
I'll get our social media maven on it and see what we can arrange for this year. Yeah, as David's mentioned, social media obviously a big thing with engagement for it. I will be behind the scenes trying to get TIN to post about it as often as we can. Ideally, of course, a daily update, but for those who may not be fully aware, TIN is an entirely voluntary organization. I'm a voluntary director. Our social media expert is voluntary, so it's all based on the time we have available. But we have a thriving community, and I will try to crowdsource prompt responses so that we can take some of the stress. No one knows that I'm saying this. This is off the cuff. I have not discussed this with anyone. I'm going to get in. Well, I mean, the power's gone to my head, but no trouble for this whatsoever. Yeah, so the social medias for TIN will be in the video description. I will include. In fact, I'll get the links from you, Dave, so that there's no chance of misspelling on my end to include in the video description as well. And I will very shortly ask you, Dave, for any closing comments, and then I will throw up the prompt list in the video itself, as well as a QR code for our newsletter where you can. I'll try to have maybe a mid-month update about how RPGaDay is going for TIN with some responses included in that, just to keep that ball rolling. So, do you have any closing comments? Anything that you feel has not been touched upon, would like to elaborate upon?
Just join in if you can, spread the word, keep it positive. I know when we're a couple of years in, there are a couple of people trying to turn it negative, and that's not the point of it. It's trying to celebrate what we do rather than bring other people down. So yeah, keep it good, and yeah, get involved as much as you can, and don't forget the hashtag.
Yeah, and obviously, if you get a chance, read the other material at, is it autocratic.com and Chasing Shadows?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yes, the the other great thing about it is thanks to the hashtag, you can search for other people's responses, maybe find games that you hadn't heard of before, share other people's responses as well. Just and hey, you make a whole contacts that you haven't people you haven't met before. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, and who knows, you might find your new favorite game as a result of this. I know that I came across it a couple of years ago, and I can't remember which game it was, but it opened my eyes to the possibilities of indie creation, because I hadn't really been. That was before I'd stepped into the tabletop industry proper as a freelance writer. So, thank you for that. And perhaps without that, I would not have contributed to Cubicle 7 Books myself.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah. If you have any questions, dear viewers, obviously let us know in the comments section. And I'm obligated to say this as this is hitting YouTube. Please like the video. Please subscribe to Tin's YouTube channel. It's not terribly active as of yet, but I have plans. And please do consider following the QR code that will shortly appear on screen. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video on RPGaDay August 2024. And hopefully we will see you on the internet taking part and sharing your anecdotes of your role-playing experiences.